Hey everybody, Motorpoet 59 here. I'm talking a little bit about EVs. Now I did a piece recently about the lie of the government pushing electric vehicles on us. And in that video, and as I've said multiple times, I don't have a problem with electric vehicles. I have a problem with government mandates. And what I want to talk about now is the misinformation about electric vehicles, mostly by conservatives and or people who are simply opposed to these mandates. I am vehemently opposed to these mandates, but I'm not opposed to EVs. I don't care. I think it's a cool technology. I think that Tesla has some awesome vehicles. Rivian has two of the best vehicles that are on the road today. The Rivian RT1 and the Rivian, I think it's the RS1, the new SUV that they released this year. They're spectacular vehicles. They're very, very capable, just awesome vehicles. But I still don't want one. And there are many reasons that an EV would not work out for me. I am a pickup guy. There won't be a full-size electric truck, electric pickup. I drive an F-150 with the 3.5 turbo EcoBoost motor, and it's the crew cab. It's a full-size whole ball of wax, and there won't be an electric. The Ford Lightning is nothing like my truck. It's a cool vehicle. The F-150 Lightning, the electric truck, it's really cool, but it doesn't get, they say 300 miles. Absolutely not. There isn't an EV out there of any kind that's going to go 300 miles between charges without falling into its reserve mode and taking you 20 miles an hour to the next charging station. That's just not going to happen. I have a 36-gallon tank on my truck. I can go around almost 600 miles out on the road in my truck. I'm not going to get that if I'm driving back and forth between Tehachapi and driving around town. It's not going to get that good a gas mileage. But out on the road on my vacations that I've taken, my 2,000-mile vacations and stuff, out on the highway, it averages a little over 20 miles to the gallon. And you're not going to find an EV that goes that far. Do you need to go that far? No, you don't need to go that far, but you need to go more than the 150, 180 miles, 200 max that a lot of these people, you can go on YouTube and find a lot of videos about people who have bought these trucks, people who have bought Rivians, and that what the realistic numbers are behind these trucks. These people aren't unhappy with their vehicles, but they want people to know the truth. And the Rivian is not a full-size pickup. It is the midsize, like a Tacoma or the Chevy Colorados, stuff like that. And spectacular truck. If you haven't seen those things, go on YouTube and watch the off-road stuff they're capable of, and they can outrun a Ferrari in a quarter of a mile. They do 0 to 60, I think, in about 3 seconds. They're spectacular vehicles, but I don't want one. It's not practical for me. It never will be. I bought my pickup for a specific reason. I do a lot of driving around out long trips, and I haul stuff around in it. And the Lightnings and the Rivians, you start loading those things up, putting stuff in the back of the truck. I don't have a trailer, but you try to pull a trailer with those, and it cuts the available mileage in half, where you really will be stopping seriously every 120, 150 miles to charge your vehicle. A lot of strings attached to EVs. As far as charging rates and all that, and I'm not going to get into all the minutia of all that, but I still have no problem with the technology. I think that over time it will improve. There will be ways they figure out to get better range out of these batteries, even though I was watching a deal recently with two physicists who were talking about the lithium-ion batteries and these kind of batteries, in primary batteries in general, that there will be no more leaps forward in primary battery technology. We are up against physics. Most of the stuff that I hear negative about EVs is from conservatives, or as I said, people who are opposed to these mandates. And as I said, I'm opposed to the mandates. But this is not the fault of electric vehicles. And I constantly see my conservative friends putting up things about, oh, look at this. What if you were in this snowstorm and this road was closed and you were stuck in your Tesla for 8 hours and your battery went dead? Or this guy had to stop 47 and a half times going from Denver to El Paso because it was cold. Come on, man. That's just not, those are not real. When you see those posts, they're not real. People are posting this trying to disparage electric vehicles, and they're disparaging the wrong part of this. The electric vehicle isn't to blame for this. The government's mandates are to blame for these issues, and there's nothing that these electric car manufacturers can do about that. Even Elon Musk has said that this is a ridiculous law that they passed in California, that the industry isn't ready for that. The automakers, we're not geared up for this yet. Toyota has just come out and said, we're not going to convert our systems to electric cars. That's not where the market is. It's not our bread and butter, and we're not going to do it. Yeah, we'll make some electric cars, but that is not where we are headed. I think that the big three in America, Chrysler isn't really doing that much about it, but Ford and Chevy, I think, are just sucking up. They are sucking up to the environmentalists and trying to make it sound like they really care about the environment. They don't care about the environment. They care about making money and making cars. That's their thing. And they're hoping this plays out for them. And because really, if they cared for, even though Chevy's going to stop making the Camaro, I thought it was in 2022. But what are these companies making? SUVs and muscle cars. That is their primary focus now. Sedans are a thing of the past. They're going to let Tesla and all these other companies make sedans now, and the imports. If they were concerned, Ford and Chevy, about the environment, they would not be making muscle cars and SUVs. That wouldn't be their main liners. But we have to stop blaming electric cars for this, because they're here to stay. They're not going away. They're becoming more popular. They're selling better. They're still not anywhere near the numbers of gas-powered cars, obviously. And then they won't be for a long time. And we have to stop blaming those cars. Stop posting things just because, I've said this about so many things. If you're a conservative, stop posting things just because somebody you know that's another conservative, you saw it on their page, or they sent something to you. Look into it. Find out the realities. Lithium-ion batteries are spectacular power sources. And are they, they are affected, as are all batteries, by extremes in temperature changes. Extreme heat and extreme cold do affect how a battery will work, how all batteries work. But essentially, lithium-ion batteries are awesome power sources. And they're not going to die in 50 miles just because it's 20 degrees, and they're not going to die in 50 miles because it's 110. You're not going to get, chances are, if you're in a Tesla and you get stuck up on top of the grapevine and the road's closed for 6 or 8 hours, an electric car isn't like a gas car that sits there and runs. You don't have your lights on, your power's at minimum, and your heater's going to work just fine for a long days. Even if you're at half charge, these systems don't draw a lot of power. They're designed to get the maximum effect out of minimum power. On gas-powered cars, we don't have to do that. You have the engine and the alternator and all that, your whole electrical system to run your stuff, so they don't care how much power it draws. These Teslas, Rivians, these cars are not designed that way. Same thing with this. This is my cousin's neighbor. Seriously, give me a break. Go back and talk to these people. They probably have no clue who posted this or anything about them. Stop it. We dog the liberals constantly about that kind of stuff, about just passing on information. The mainstream media dog them constantly about just throwing things out there and hoping they stick to the wall. And we have to stop doing that. Do a little research. Figure this stuff out. Don't just pass stuff along. There are a lot of pros and cons to gas-powered cars and to electric vehicles. I'm not denying that, but it's not as serious as a lot of people make it out to be. And what they should be fighting is the government, not the electric car companies. Stop sending Elon Musk hate mail. Stop sending these car manufacturers hate mail and you suck and this stuff. You're wasting your time. You need to be, if you want to bitch at somebody, bitch at your elected representatives. That's what you're supposed to be doing. I've said this 100 times about things on Facebook. Sign this petition on Facebook. No, don't do that. Nobody cares about that. The politicians don't read that stuff. They could care less. Those petitions go nowhere. Stop messing. Next time you get one, just delete it or go on by it, because it's pointless. And in the time that you could rant and rage for and write a novel like I sometimes do on Facebook, you could have sent an email to your congressman, and I do both, or the president, or whoever. It doesn't matter. You're wasting your time on Facebook, and you're wasting your time railing against electric vehicles. They aren't the problem. The government's the problem. Stay focused. Stick to your guns about the government. Electric vehicles mean nothing to you. They are not your enemy. The government mandates are your enemy. So make sure you're thinking of it like that, and every time you get mad about it, fire off a letter to your congressman. All right? What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments below. Shoot me an email at motopoet59@gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe, click on the bell if you want to be notified of future content, and we'll see you all later.